having a bit of tea. Sometimes I just spill it, but I have a travel story that spans over a decade. It starts in Mexico and it ends in Ibiza. So this is quite a magical story. This story came from me cleaning my office yesterday, and I found a postcard to myself from Ibiza, or Ibiza, depends on your accent and what you call it. So Ibiza is in an island in the Mediterranean of Spain. Not too many people know about it unless you like dance music, and maybe if you lived in Europe. A lot of people don't really know about Ibiza. A lot of people also think it's like a drug-fueled island. It can be. Let me start driving. But I went there for a specific reason, to see DJs, and there is a couple of videos about that in my playlist. If you go to the Ibiza playlist, you'll see why I went to Ibiza. But this story starts in Mexico. Well, it kind of started in Australia originally because I had gone through, this is 2013, I'd gone through a dramatic breakup. I was made redundant in my job. I had to break up my house that I was, part ownership in, lost my dog to the boyfriend, ex-boyfriend. I went to live in a share accommodation house. And through a few coincidences, I end up in Mexico. That's another story in itself, okay? But I'm in Mexico. It's the end of 2013. It's been a shitty year, okay? And I see that a DJ, Armin van Buuren, is playing at New Year's Eve on the beach in Playa del Carmen. So I'm like, oh, wow, this big DJ. I had heard the name, but I really wasn't really familiar. So I'm at this stage about 38 years old, and I hadn't been to a rave before. I had been to some DJs before, and I love dance music, but I hadn't really got back into the scene. I was 38. I'd been in a relationship. I was, living my best life. Really, not really. I had a full-time job. The boyfriend, there was a nightmare. But that's on me because I didn't break up with him. I had a part-time job at night time. So life was a bit chaotic. I didn't have time for fun. That's literally how I was. So this is a big reminder for me also to have fun. Hey, Kirsty, how you going? So you'll follow along with the travel story. So anyway, it was a pretty shitty year, 2013. As I said, I broke up with a boyfriend, lost my job, decided to go to Mexico. I had lived in Mexico previous, so I knew some people. I'd lined up a job. So I was in Mexico, and I'd also, as you do, get a Mexican boyfriend, don't you? That's not the travel story today, though. I saw this DJ called Armin van Buuren playing at New Year's Eve, and I thought, you know what? It's been a shitty year. Let's change it into something amazing and see this big DJ. He's a big international DJ. On the beach, my first rave on the beach with my Mexican boyfriend. He had no idea Ivan van Buuren was, but I was like, you know what? Let's listen to some of his music. And I thought, oh yeah, it's actually pretty good actually. I like it, right? So I bought a ticket. We got tickets, and the New Year's Eve, we are on the beach in Playa del Carmen. There's this massive stage, fireworks. It was like nothing I'd seen before, right? I'd never seen anything like this before. It was the sound, like the quality of the sound, the music. I mean, not everyone likes dance music, I get that. The story's not really about dance music, it's just more about a decade of interestingness. It all goes around Armin van Buuren and seeing this DJ. So I finished 2013 with a bang, literally with a bang. I have a Mexican boyfriend with me, a US boyfriend, which is a story in itself, right? I am seeing this amazing DJ that is world famous, and I'm loving his music. And it was so amazing to be dancing under the stars, New Year's Eve, to amazing music. It was amazing feeling, right? Dancing on the sand, there's nothing else, right? A lot of you guys know I like dancing. So that started 2014 with a bang. And that 2013 year was gone, right? And fast forward a couple of years, and I'm living my best life, right? I had gone from, quite a serious relationship, not married, but like, might as well be married, mortgages and all the things, right? House and blah, blah, blah. So now I'm living my best life. I'm realizing that, life is for living, life is not for working. I was working like a dog previous. So if I hadn't lost that job in 2013 and broken up with my boyfriend, I'd probably still be chasing the corporate ladder. I'm going to be honest, I probably would have been chasing the money, the notoriety that, oh, you're a manager, you're this, you're that, you're the state manager, you're this. I don't know what I was thinking, guys. No shame if you guys are doing that. Hey, Matt, how you going? No shame if you're chasing the corporate ladder. That's for you. Everyone's different, right? Everyone does things in their own way, right? This is my wake-up call in 2013 that it wasn't for me. So fast forward a couple of years later, the Mexican boyfriend does come back to Australia with me. That doesn't work out. But that's okay. I'm living my best life. I have now met Diego, and I'm in, a very good relationship, probably the stablest relationships I've ever been in. And I've been in a few, unfortunately. And I am obsessed with dance music, like obsessed. When I say obsessed, I mean obsessed. I have, Armin van Buuren playing in my ears a lot. And he has, I don't know if you're familiar, but Armin van Buuren is a DJ from the Netherlands. He's probably rated one of the top 5 DJs in the world in the last 10 years, pretty much. And he's got his own DJ podcast kind of thing. It's like a YouTube thing that's on YouTube / Matt will know him / it's a podcast. So basically, I think for me, because it's on Thursday night in the UK, in like UK time, so in Netherlands, Europe time, and then it's on Friday morning for me. So I wake up on Friday morning and I listen to Armin van Buuren. He gets other DJs onto his podcast. He plays music. It's amazing, right? So I've been listening to this podcast most Friday mornings for a long time, right? Ever since I saw him on the beach playing on New Year's Eve, right? So it kind of started the dance thing back in me. And in that time also, Dancing with Dora Wednesdays came about, where basically dance because you want to dance, not dance because you are good at it, right? So this is something I do on Instagram on a Wednesday. I've now brought it into YouTube on a short on a Wednesday, where basically I do a silly dance. And it's not about, it's just for fun. It's about, having a giggle, having a laugh, right? Because life is way too serious, right? No one knows when, tomorrow is, well, tomorrow's not guaranteed for any of us, right? So what I'm trying to say is that 2013 was a real eye-opener for me to look at my life and change my direction, change my feeling, change my outlook. So the craziness that you see today in me, I don't think it's crazy, this is just my normal, right? Is really because of 2013 and ending the year seeing this DJ, Armin van Buuren. So one morning I wake up on a Friday morning and I'm listening to Armin van Buuren, and I hear him say, I'm going to be playing tonight in Brisbane. I'm like, what the hell? Is there a Brisbane in Netherlands? He's like, yeah, I'm going to Australia. I'm like, holy shit, my favourite DJ is coming to Australia? Like, what the hell? So I quickly Google, and I can't even remember the name of the festival, but there was Armin van Buuren headlining. There was Calvin Harris, which is another massive DJ, Steve Aoki, which is another massive DJ. But obviously, the point is, he was playing that night. So it was Thursday night in Netherlands, and then somehow he's flying to Australia. I'm like, oh my god. So maybe it was pre-recorded. Maybe it wasn't live that morning that I listened to it. But anyway, I didn't go to my job that day. I took a sickie. Actually, I think I worked for myself at this stage, so I can take my own sickie. So I chucked a sickie and I went to this festival. Worked out my friend Scott. I've talked about Scott with you guys. Scott is the partner for one of my good friends, Amanda, that unfortunately passed away a couple of years ago. And we both started loving dance music together back when we were early 20s and 30s. And I used to go to the nightclubs listening to DJs and seeing DJs. So it kind of brought back me hanging out with Scott. Amanda hadn't died at this stage, unfortunately, but Amanda didn't go. She had a baby, so she was staying home looking at the baby. I went out with Scott, basically, and I went and saw this DJ, Armin van Buuren. So it was amazing to see him in my hometown in Brisbane after, following him for the last, I don't know how many years, since I saw him at a rave in Mexico. And it was just like bang. Ever since that rave in Brisbane, seeing Armin, Calvin Harris was amazing, Steve Aoki was amazing, a couple of other DJs were there. It was amazing. And then basically I started seeing other DJs. So that was the start of me actually going to raves here in Brisbane in Australia. Most of the raves come to Sydney, unfortunately. So I'm going to eat my muesli bar and have my tea. So I start going to all these raves in Brisbane, in Sydney, and I start listening to Tomorrowland. Tomorrowland is the biggest kind of rave in the world. It's in Belgium, and it attracts like hundreds of thousands of people over 2 weekends. It's very, very expensive to go to. It's a dream as a raver myself to want to go. But as I said, it's very expensive. It's hard to get tickets to. They sell out like that. And all the big DJs go. So Armin goes, all the big DJs, right? So, but you're able to watch it live on YouTube. So 2 years ago, in July, coming up, I was watching Armin. I was dancing around my bedroom, literally dancing around jumping on my bed, dancing on my bed, dancing on the floor, watching it live. It was amazing, right? I made a couple of videos doing it. It sounds really weird, but I did. There's a couple of videos on my YouTube of me talking about how excited I was to see all these favorite DJs playing. Hey Maria, how you going? And it spurred something even more in me. Like I started realizing that you don't even have to go to a rave. You can rave in your own backyard, in your house. Like, so me dancing on a Wednesday night on these shorts or reels on Instagram became a really big thing for me, because I was like, you know what, you've got to love the music. You don't have to go out to a club or a rave. Not everyone wants to do that, right? And like by this stage I'm 40, I'm a middle-aged lady. Like, what the hell? Do you need to go out night clubbing? No, you don't. You can dance around your own bedroom, enjoy your life, right? And film it. Who gives a fuck, right? I don't care what people think of me. I really don't. And I think that's another thing that kind of came about in this last 10-year period, that I don't care what people think. Judge me all you want. I don't care. That's on you judging me. So live your best life, right? So I was dancing around my bedroom, and then I was introduced to a new DJ, Dimitri Vegas. And I was like, wow, this guy's amazing. And I'm Googling, when does he ever come to Australia? Never comes to Australia. I'm like, damn it. But it popped up that he does a residency in Ibiza. And I'm like, thinking, right, manifesting, going, oh, I've always wanted to go to Ibiza, but I never did. Because again, it's expensive to get to. It's very far from Australia. And, the tickets to go see the DJs are not cheap. They're actually quite expensive. And, I've got a job, Mutiara, Dora, Mutiara, behave, you can't just go on the other side of the world just to see DJs. Come on. You go on the other side of the world to see, the Statue of Liberty or the giant pyramids of Giza. You don't go across the world to go see a DJ. Come on, girl. Come on. Like, who are you? You don't have heaps a lot, lots and lots of money, right? But the manifesting started. Now, like I said, this Tomorrowland goes over 2 weekends. So the next weekend, Dimitri Vegas played again. And same with Armin van Buuren played again too. So I was obsessed. I'm like, oh my God, this Dimitri Vegas is amazing. He's really quite hard. Just the music was amazing. And he had lots of people come on. Like he had literally he was bringing other people onto his set. Like he was doing a DJ set. And he actually brought on, the guy from Fast and Furious, what's his name? Vin Diesel. He doesn't even play music, but he's dancing around on the DJ box. It was hilarious. But anyway, it was just amazing. Anyway, it just got me thinking. I was just like, oh, wouldn't it be amazing to go to Ibiza? Like, really? And then when I looked at Ibiza, at the same time, I'm watching Tomorrowland, and there's Armin and all the big DJs playing. I'm just thinking, like, all these big DJs go to Ibiza too. So anyway, I'm Googling, as you do, and I see that Dimitri Vegas plays on a Wednesday night at Ushuaia, one of the biggest nightclubs in the world, right, in Ibiza, Ushuaia. And then I saw, oh my gosh, Armin van Buuren will be there the same week that I kind of Googled. I'm like, oh my God, imagine seeing Armin van Buuren in Ibiza. Imagine. And then Dimitri Vegas. And then I looked again the same week, David Guetta. Now, David Guetta is probably renowned to being one of the biggest DJs in the world now. And I've never seen him. And I was like, oh my gosh, he does a set on Friday night called Fuck On Famous across the road from Ushuaia at another nightclub called High Ibiza, which is supposed to be one of the DJs in the world, no, biggest nightclubs in the world too. And I'm like, oh my God, my head's going to explode. Like, oh my gosh, in this one week, I could see 3 big DJs. And they also had Martin Garrix playing, which is another big DJ. I didn't see him. But where this is heading, guys, is I was Googling, seeing how much flights cost. And basically, I just did it. Diego came in the middle of me Googling. He's like, what are you doing? I said, I'm just seeing how much it costs to go to Ibiza. He's like, oh, that'd be expensive, wouldn't it? I'm like, yeah. Anyway, it all just connected, right, guys? I thought, you know what? Why am I working my ass off? Yes, I pay my mortgage, right? I pay for, I try to go on holidays and stuff like that. But I hadn't actually been on a trip for like 6 years, maybe not that long. It was just after the pandemic. A lot of us didn't travel for different reasons. So I hadn't even had a passport. So I even got my passport in a hurry and I booked some flights. And literally 2 months later, I'm in Ibiza listening to Tomorrowland set by Dimitri Vegas. So the DJ I was dancing around in my bedroom at Tomorrowland played a DJ set called Tomorrowland every Wednesday for a month in Ibiza. So that happened to be the week I turned up. So it was amazing. And then I finished on a Sunday night in Ibiza seeing Armin van Buuren. Now, it was amazing. Really, truly amazing. Armin van Buuren is like such a great DJ. He's really good. The set was amazing. The music was amazing. The vibe was amazing. The dancing was amazing. Everything was amazing. I loved it. Every moment of it. The next morning, I was on the beach watching the sunrise. And I realized that it had been exactly 10 years. Not exactly, probably 10 and a half years. It had been nearly 10 and a half years between seeing Armin van Buuren on the beach in Playa del Carmen on New Year's Eve, that 2013 year. That was a pretty shitty year for me, but I ended it with an amazing, seeing a DJ. And then nearly a decade later, seeing the same DJ near beach in Ibiza. And it just kind of went, wow, what a decade that's been. If I didn't see that DJ, would I have had that amazing decade of listening to music and loving music? And it got me into, posting on social media. I mean, obviously my channel's not just me dancing around to music, right? It's me living my best life, right? But part of that is music and DJs. And that's truly, to me, one of my biggest travel stories, because here I am in Mexico in a shitty year of my life, finishing it on such a high, and then a decade nearly later, I realise on a beach watching the sunset on the beach, sunrise on the beach, and I have a tear in my eyes going, wow, what an amazing 10 years, and how blessed I am that I was made redundant and I lost that boyfriend. Because if I didn't break up with the boyfriend, I didn't lose the job, I didn't go to Mexico. None of that would have happened. Maybe it would have in a different way, right? But, it's really interesting to look back at your life and go, wow, what amazing things happened. And you know what's really interesting? That story, I went to Ibiza nearly a year and a half ago. That story I only remembered that story because I read a postcard. So you guys know that I love sending postcards and receiving postcards. I am in the middle of, been talking about it for like the last 5 months actually, doing a postcard exchange with you guys. A lot of you guys wanted to be involved, so I will, if you put in after this live stream, if you put in the chat, want to do the postcard exchange, it'll egg me on even more. So basically I love sending postcards, right? But I also send postcards to myself. And when I was in Ibiza, that morning on the sunrise, and realizing that 10 years started with Armin van Buuren and ended in Armin van Buuren, it was just a beautiful moment, right? I got a postcard and I put to myself that I wrote that story. And I read that story yesterday afternoon in my office, and I was just like, wow, it put me back into that place. So I guess it's like journaling, right? You can write in a travel diary or a journal about, what happened that day, and you can reread. Not too many people reread their journal, but with a postcard, you can quickly have a little, read a scan of what happened that day. And that's why I do that. I send postcards home. I sent a postcard home from the Gili Islands. I'm still to wait for that. That hasn't turned up yet. I sent a postcard home literally a year ago from Samoa. On my 50th birthday, I actually wrote a postcard to myself saying how amazing it was to be 50. I never received that postcard. It's still in the mail. Who knows? But, it doesn't matter. The act of, putting it out to the universe that, you're so grateful. You write on these postcards, something like, you're grateful, amazing. Whatever happened in that day. I guess it's like gratitude, or writing down what the amazing things that happened in your day. Yeah. So anyway, that's my travel story that started in Mexico with Armin van Buuren and ended in Ibiza with Armin van Buuren. So anyway, that was spilling the tea. Sweet story. So I hope you like that spilling the tea story. Sorry I haven't been in the comments, guys. I am driving, so I can't really see the comments anyway. But yeah, as I said, that's a pretty powerful story for me. It might not mean anything to you guys. That's okay. But hopefully you got something out of that. That maybe enjoy your life. We're not meant to be stagnant. We're not trees. We don't have roots. We can move. We can spread. We don't have to travel overseas. I know that. Not everyone needs to, go to Ibiza and Mexico, right? I'm not saying that. I'm saying that life is more than just earning money. I mean, I know it's good to have money. It pays things like the roof over our head and the car that we drive. But I was in such a mode of work, save. I forgot the actual meaning of who I was. And who I was this soul that liked to explore and have fun and jump and dance and explore and have adventures every day, right? So today is Tuesday here in Australia. It is 8:19 a.m. I'm actually driving to work earlier than normal. And I think I'm probably going to finish up a bit earlier today. I would actually like to go painting today. So, every day I think there's an opportunity to have an adventure. And I've been talking about wanting to paint since I've come back from Bali. It is an overcast kind of day. I'm not sure if I'll get out and paint, but I'm going to try. Hopefully I can. So anyway, I'm going to leave that with you. Hopefully I can just ask you, or let you think about, what are you going to do today that fills your soul with fire? Dance around your bedroom, listen to some really fun music, paint, I don't know, be in the garden, do something exciting for you, right? Like, I think that we can get into this rut where we kind of just get stagnant and life can get a little bit boring, right? Just generalizing. Maybe you're living your best life. If you are, excellent, I love it. But if you're not, what's stopping you? Because we don't know how long we've got on this earth, so we might as well enjoy today, right? And that's how I live my life. I enjoy every day. I live the life out of my day. Some people might look at my life and go, oh, crap, Dora. Like, seriously? But you know what? Tomorrow's not guaranteed for any of us, you know? And, the people judging me saying, oh my God, you're a lot. They've gone to work and they've gone home and sat on the couch at the end of the day. I'm not judging. That maybe that's amazing. That's what you want to do. That's great. But I'd ask the question, what else is there you could do? Anyway, that is my spilling the tea. Sweet story. I managed not to spill tea on myself today, which is good. I just wanted to add something kind of funny, a bit of a blooper. So I have a spilling the tea called Spilling the Tea from Laos. I did it about 9 days ago. Now, if you're a live streamer, you know that live streams only have power for about 1 day. People see them, your friends see them, and that's it. No one else will go watch your live stream ever again. It's buried under your other live streams. But somehow, interestingly, I don't know how, out of the YouTube algorithm, my Spilling the Tea from Laos has been picked up. And I'm getting like 4 or 5 views an hour. I mean, it hasn't gone huge. It's not hugely viral. But for a live stream to pick up after 9 days is crazy. Weird. So I don't know why. But anyway, yesterday afternoon, I thought I'd better put an end screen to that live stream. So that way when they finish the Laos video, it goes for about 20 minutes, they can see another Spilling the Tea. So then I thought I'd be a really good YouTuber. Because yesterday I set up my office, actually, guys. I set up my office yesterday. I've been talking about that for ages. So I have my computer out, so I'm able to put an end screen. So on your phone, on the app on your phone, I can't figure out how to do an end screen. It's just too hard. So anyway, I sat down, I did some end screens on the Laos video. And in the middle of me doing all this on my Spilling the Tea, guess what? I spilled tea all over the floor. So I had a massive giggle to myself and I went, that is literally spilling the tea. So anyway, thanks for watching. Sorry I haven't really been in the chat, guys. Like when I do these horizontal lives, I can't see the chat. And plus I'm driving. So anyway, I wish you good night, Matt, Maria. I think I see Kirsty there. I'm not sure who else I saw there. But if you are there on a replay, hope you're having an amazing day. Hope something, resonated out of that spilling the tea. And if you're interested in the postcard exchange, put a comment in the live stream comments, okay? As in like not the chat, the actual comments. I'm going to finish now and say good night or goodbye. Actually, I can't say yet. Yeah, I'm driving. So I have to wait till I stop. Because in Australia, you can't touch the phone. So I actually have to pull over soon before I pick up my client and get changed. I just went to Pilates and I normally go home from Pilates, have some breakfast and get changed and then go to work. But this morning, because I have to go half an hour early, it was either not go to Pilates or not go home. So I went straight from Pilates. I took all my clothes. I've literally got my clothes here with me, my work clothes. So I'm going to pull over on the side of the road and literally get changed. Hey, this is what you got to do, right? I'm a hustler. And that's why I'm having a muesli bar for breakfast. It's not great food, I know that. What's even funnier is I forgot to have breakfast. I made my tea. When I jumped in the car, I saw I had a muesli bar sticking out underneath my seat of my car. So I'm eating a muesli bar that has been sitting under the seat of my car for God knows how long. Classy, aren't I? Hey, I was hungry. And you know what? I needed to eat. That is to me a sign that says eat the goddamn muesli bar. So, yeah. So then I thought, What's a sweet story I can tell for a travel story? And then I thought, oh my gosh, what I read yesterday on the postcard from Mexico to Ibiza and back. And just to add to that travel story, I've seen Armin van Buuren in the last 10 years quite a few times. He's come to Australia quite regularly, at least once a year actually. One time in Bandcamp, he played on a Friday night in Brisbane. I flew out the next morning and saw him on Saturday night in Sydney. It was amazing. I love him. He's an amazing DJ. If you know who I'm talking about, um, Armin van Buuren. He's pretty good. He's actually quite a talented musician too. He plays the piano. So I'm just about to get off the main road here because that would be really inappropriate trying to get changed, from my leggings into my shorts, take my top off, put my other top on. So if I go down the side street, which my client lives in, I just won't pull out in front of her house. That'd be like not cool. Though in saying that, it doesn't matter. All right, guys. Actually, I'm going to pull up in front of my client's house because I'm definitely on time. I want to be on time because I can get changed at work too. That's all I do. I just get changed at work. Anyway, guys, I'm going to say see you later. I'm about to pull over in a second, and then I'll turn the phone off. So, okay. I'll say see you later, guys. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching. If you can write a comment after this live stream, that will help me. Thanks. Bye.